8-month layoff, and then you just do that. I mean, were you just feeling it, or just kind of just ready to go for the season already?
Honestly, I felt good because Diablo wasn't guarding me in practice, so it felt pretty good. Kind of getting a break from that.
I mean, at what point did you know like you were just hot? It was like in the first quarter. You just felt there a pregame.
I don't know. I think we were just trying to move the ball, and I shot shots. I think so. So they went in. I'm pretty happy about it. I don't know what else to say about that.
I mean, first game being back at Reed Gym, just a season opener. I mean, did it feel nice just to be back out there and kind of get the jitters all out and ready to go?
Yeah, we couldn't wait. Honestly, it's been a long preseason. We missed it. We missed playing, and it was weird without the fans. But our marketing department had like a fake fan noise, so that kind of made it a little bit better. And not playing in a quiet gym, but overall, it was great.
I mean, what was the speech from Seton at halftime? Because last year you guys blew the lead to Utah State over there in Logan. You know, what kind of change and what kept you guys on the gas pedal?
Just keeping playing hard, like keep playing hard, and not let going on defense, and not being selfish and just moving the ball and taking the best shot we can.
I mean, foul trouble for pretty much a lot of your guys' teammates on Idaho State. Is that kind of just the first game with just the jitters and just having refs back in there and just kind of getting everything situated?
I think so. I think it was a lot of excitement, and I think it will be better next game.
Thanks, Tor.
Thank you.
How did you feel right before tip? I mean, you guys have been through a lot to get back on the court. Were there any emotions, right as you were getting on the court?
In the locker room, we were like, I think we were all a little bit nervous, but once the tip off happened, like I think it kind of went away, and we were a little bit better. Like, and then once the game started going, I think we all calmed down.
How happy were you guys, with the defense? I mean, you guys shot well, obviously, but also held them down on defense. I mean, what was working for you? How'd you guys feel about that?
We knew they were an offensive-minded team, and they usually score a lot of points. So we were trying to keep them under shooting under 34%, like we usually do, and I think we did a pretty good job with that.
What was it like seeing all the? I mean, you got a lot of players back, but you got a lot of new players out there too. I mean, especially with the Steffi and Tamika coming back. How did it feel to see all those new faces out there and play with them and sort of, have that many players in your rotation?
It feels amazing. In practice, we already felt each other, like, and we're kind of growing our team chemistry. But finally, in the first game, it felt really good having all the players, and you have a lot of trust in all of like your teammates that they will do the right thing, and it's just like you feel very comfortable playing.
Anything else for Dora?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Drew.
Dora, you obviously had such an amazing season last year, and you're a rock star out on the court. Going into this season as a senior, are you feeling any urgency to do better than you did last year?
I don't think so. My only goal this year is honestly to win the Big Sky Championship. That's the only goal I have in mind.
Yeah. And after the game was canceled on Wednesday to Montana Tech, does that make going into these games any more nerve-wracking that could happen again, or?
We're just trying to do everything we can to make sure that we play. We're trying to social distance, not hang out with too many people that are outside of our team, and we're trying to stay safe and do what we can, and hoping that the other teams are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Dora.
Thank you.
Quick question, Dora.
The one where you dropped the girl. I mean, you didn't miss a lot of shots, but you missed that one. Were you mad that you didn't make it after you put her on the floor?
I don't know. I don't honestly remember what I made and what I missed, if I'm being honest. I was too emotional in the game, so I don't really remember much.
You were able to make a couple of those runners, those floaters early. Did that help? I mean, I know you've sort of been working on that part of your game in the mid-range when they run you off the line. I mean, did that help?
That's one of my favorite shots. So I feel like it gets me going, gets me that touch to shoot the outside shots too. So I think that shot definitely helps me in the floater. It's like, and then like helps out the pull up and in the end in the three.
From a player's perspective, I know they're cleaning the basketballs too on the side. Is there anything like with the grip wise, or did you notice anything like that and then just different balls coming in?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, so like I know the facility staff was cleaning the balls. Like as soon as balls out of play, they clean it and things like that. From a
Mhm.
player's perspective, did you notice anything different during the game, or just kind of just normal?
I honestly didn't even notice that. Like I just noticed that before we go in and after we get out of the game, we have to put hand sanitizer. And like when we're out, we have to keep our masks on. But everything outside of that, I really didn't notice.
Awesome, cool. Thanks, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, what's the biggest difference? I mean, what affects you the most? Just with the difference, is it not having the fans, or is it having to stay apart on the bench, wear your mask on the bench? What's the thing you notice the most?
I think for me personally, it's the not having fans here. I think our fans are just amazing and help us on and off the court so much. And I think it was weird not hearing them cheer for us. And it was weird, but like I think it's just something that we're gonna have to get used to.
Cool. Thanks, Dora.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, here's Seaton.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
You guys
I
go.
mean, you look at
Yeah.
Dora's performance today. Just, I mean, how crazy was that? Just seeing her shoot the ball as hot as she did.
It was fun. Dora always has that capability to kind of get going, and she's just got such an amazing touch on the ball and amazing feel for the game that it's always a wild card in every game.
What did you tell your team at halftime? Because I mean, last season you guys had that big lead in Utah and Logan, and then you guys, just let it go. What did you tell your team at halftime to just keep on going in the second half?
Well, I said, whoever plays the hardest in the second half is going to win. It's more of a distance thing. That they're, like Dora said, they're a team that wants to play fast, wants to score a lot of points. That coach, when she was the head coach at University of Denver, they regularly, I think they had one game where they scored under 70. Everything was in the 70s and 80s. And they want to play fast and score. And so they practice that way. They practice fast. And so you assume that they're in better shape than you are. We just said it's going to be an endurance race. Whoever can endure and play the hardest and has the most energy in the second half is going to win.
I mean, from just watching you guys and looking at the stat sheet, it didn't look like you guys had an 8-month layoff. Were you impressed with just how quick your team came out?
Yeah, I kind of expect a little bit more rust. I kind of expected a little bit more mistakes. And we did have that in terms of silly fouls and illegal screens and stuff like that. So we kind of, in a different way, we had some issues. But offensively, I thought we were pretty good, it was just some other little things that we showed our rust.
Yeah, you mentioned that foul trouble. What do you attribute that to? Is it just like just getting back in the game flow type of thing?
I think it's just nervous energy and jitters and people wanting to do well and do things and, overthinking a little bit.
What was the biggest difference from the season opener to last year's? I mean, no fans, things like that. What kind of just threw you off the most?
Well, yeah, just no fans. But that's actually our first experience against an opponent since the conference tournament last year. We've had no male practice players to scrimmage against because, again, we don't want to risk infection. We didn't play a scrimmage. We didn't play an exhibition game. Almost every single year we scrimmage University of Utah or Boise State or somebody pretty tough and get a gauge. And we had none of that this year. I mean, this was literally our first experience against an opponent since the conference tournament. So I didn't know what to expect. The whole situation is a little obviously weird, and you got to take some getting used to. But at the same time, I think we were just grateful to get to play. You always have this fear of, does the opponent test positive, or do you test positive, or does the athletic trainer test positive, and now you can't play. And so just the fact that we got to play was a big deal. It kind of made you look past no fans and all the other social distancing.
I mean, how big is that challenge where, I mean, you don't know if your game's going to be canceled 5 hours before tip-off? I mean, obviously you guys had your Montana Tech game canceled, but I mean, for Utah Valley on Wednesday, how hard is it not knowing until basically the ball's tipped that you're playing?
Well, Dora kind of alluded to that, and that's it's been our whole approach since COVID really hit, is to just control what we can control. you know, we can't worry about what happens with the other people, whether they get infected, whether they can test or not. We've just got to control what we can control and not focus on those other things. You'll drive yourself crazy if you let yourself go there mentally, where you worry about every little thing.
Last thing for me, how was it having Estefania back and Tamika back in the lineup and just playing again?
Oh, it was great to see him out there, you know, and I'm just happy for them because I know they want to play bad. And Steffi feels grateful for getting another opportunity to play and another year of eligibility. And so I'm just happy for them, and I'm just holding my breath and crossing my fingers that, you know, they can keep playing this season and they can, you know, play as much of a regular season as they can.
Thanks, Coach.
Any emotions for you before tip-off? I mean, you guys have, like you said, been through a lot to get here. I mean, just what were you thinking about, you know, those moments before?
I'm a little nervous about every game, you know, and every opponent scares me. That's how it works. I mean, I was really worried about Montana Tech. I worry about everybody. So, and then, you know, I kind of go through this cycle of nervousness and worried about stuff. And then I get to a place where, hey, don't forget why you coach. You enjoy doing it. You're lucky that you get to coach with the people you like. You get to coach the players you like, and you know, you get to have this amazing experience that very few people get to participate in. And so I always go through that, but it wasn't too much different in terms of my emotions and nerves than normal.
How do you feel, you know, you handle the rotation. Obviously, the rotation will get smaller as the year goes on, but you play a lot of players. How was that for you, just having to manage that throughout the game?
That was really good. It was really good to get so many people in. And I thought Finley did a great job, you know, with foul trouble for Delaney. Well, not much as Delaney did. Delaney just needed a sub, but foul trouble with Ellie. You know, I thought she did a great job. And I thought Jordan and Carson did a great job of giving us solid minutes. And even Lily there at the end had a couple nice drives to the basket, a great old board. You know, so it was good to get everybody in and get them a feel for what it's like and seeing who can do what and how they would perform in a real game.
With the Steffi and Tamika, I mean, was it just you wanted to get them out there and sort of see how they would, you know, react back in an actual game situation, and just any production you got from them would have been a bonus? I mean, what did you see from them?
You know, even those two guys, they played well. They did a great job, but there were some, you know, some things they were working through. You know, Steffi took a couple tough shots, or she hesitated on a couple of shots. And, you know, Tamika was still feeling her way through things, but then had two great right-hand runners. But it was just really good to get them out there and start getting back in that mode of this is what it feels like. This is what a game is like. And, you know, hopefully we can just keep building on it.
Where do you go from here? I mean, how do you handle this? I mean, you've only got 3 more games until conference play starts. I mean, how do you sort of build a team up over those next couple weeks?
Well, we got to find something we can learn in every single game. In this game, we've got to do a better job not fouling and putting people on the line. And that was probably the major takeaway and improvement that we need to make. But every game we're going to take as much as we can out of every game and just be as ready as we can by the time we play Northern Colorado. And yeah, it's different. In Wednesday, we've got Utah Valley coming up, and they were picked to win the WAC, both in the coaches poll and the media poll. So that could be a really tough game for us. And so we're going to learn what we can learn from this game, and then we're going to start getting ready for Utah Valley.
Cool. Thanks, Eden.
Yep, no problem.
Coach, seeing that you added a couple new players to the roster this year, whether they played or not, what do you hope they learned or gained as their first game as a Bengal today?
Well, just what it feels like and understanding the expectations. What they really learn, if they're really paying attention, is understanding the process of the preparation. You know, how serious we take every scouting report, how serious we take every opponent and every possession. And hopefully they're understanding that process, they're learning, and they can kind of get into the routine with the rest of the team. You know, the rest of the team, they kind of already know what to do and how it all works, but the new people in it, and if they embrace that, they'll get to where they need to go. But if it takes them a while, then it could impact their playing time.
Yeah. Montana went down pretty hard in the first quarter, I believe. Do you think she'll be okay playing, continuing on in the season?
Yeah, I think so. She got back in there and she moved pretty good. You know, Montana had an ACL injury way back in high school or freshman, sophomore year in high school, and it was the same knee. So anytime you have something like that happen, your mind can kind of go to the dark place, like assuming the worst, right? And I think she was a little freaked out at first, but then everything felt solid. She felt better, and she was able to get back out there. So I'm not too worried about it. It'll probably swell up on her a little bit and stiffen up, but we have tomorrow off, and I think by Monday she should be good to go.
Yeah. Obviously no fans in the stands, but with you guys all having masks on, even though it might not be as loud, is there any like lack of communication having to wear the mask? Does that hurt you guys at all?
It can, especially just coach to player from the bench. You know, other coaches and other players do give instruction from the bench, but you know, it comes from me. But luckily, I'm pretty loud. I know how to be pretty loud, and I've gotten used to it. I practice in a mask the entire practice, every practice, and I don't even drink water during practice, so it doesn't come down. I've gotten used to it.